Hmm. Someone asked me a question. Teacher, try reading the Torah without Rambam. Are you scared that you might get it wrong? Why do you fear using your own thoughts? Teacher, teach. Mhm. So, where it seems to be quite a valid question, and I'm sure the intent is only meant to be only good intentions. A teacher means you were a student, and that student became a teacher. You can't become a teacher if you're not a student first. You need to be a student of the Torah from your teacher. That's the first important point. Second point is, oops, sorry, give me a second. Forgot to put up. So you can't be a teacher if you're not first a student. And the truth is, you already always remain a student, even when you um, even when you are still a teacher. And the truth is, the Torah, if I were to describe it in one word, Jewish life, the Torah, I would call it a tradition. A tradition means it's passed down from parent to teacher, from parent to child, from teacher to student. And you always carry the tradition that you've been given. That creates a bond, a link that all the way to Moses and Mount Sinai, all the way. Now, furthermore, if I were to present my ideas of what the Torah means, a verse in the Torah, and so on and so forth, first of all, that would suggest that I'm a great scholar and I don't need Rashi, I don't need Rambam to give me an understanding. I would be a bit haughty, that I would be, you know, so learned that I could present my own ideas. To be a true student, one needs humility. A person who's full of themselves, they're not a good student and they'll never be a good teacher. But with humility, that you're able to accept teachings from another and not just accept, but recognize that it's a must for me to be a recipient of the truth. Truth, I don't create. Truth, you have to be open to, because truth is something that's from only one source, God. So you have to be open to it. That's an idea of humility. Humility makes you a receptacle that you could be the bearer of truth. But that means a receiver of truth, not the giver of truth. Not the giver of truth. You might be the conduit for truth, but you're not the giver of truth. God's the giver of truth. And to be a conduit for God's truth, you need to be a receptacle. The more the receptacle is full, the more your cup is full, right? The less you could receive. So the more we're full of ourselves, the less we can receive the divine truth to be able to teach it. So it's just some thoughts, questions that was just asked. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadeshim. And I'm not actually not coming from there today. Tomorrow, God willing, I'll be there. But right now, I'm out of town, heading forth in a few moments, and sharing it with you the eighth letter, which is fascinating. And by giving charity before you pray, gives you the opportunity that you can behold the divine presence of God. You can behold the presence of God, which that's pretty powerful. How to be able to be a conduit for the presence of God because you gave charity. So what we did explain till now is prayer is the opportunity that we can dig deep in our hearts and have the presence of God within and experience that presence, which is pretty powerful. To be able to experience the presence of God, right? That's a pretty powerful idea. To have that experience. And that comes as a gift from God through the service of the heart. That because in our heart, that's where we have the darkness begins in our heart. And the outer layers of our heart, there's a darkness there because we're so self-directed, so self-absorbed. Even if we're acting in a kind and nice way, it's still coming from a self-absorbed place. That's my darkness. And through prayer, I can dig deeper and behold God's presence. God's presence. Now, says the Alter Rebbe, to bring down that light of God, to experience it in our prayer. The truth is, the light of God that comes from his kindness, kindness is the right hand above, right? The figurative right hand above. But there's a left hand also, just like we have a left hand, is a reflection of the way it is up there. The right is kindness, and the left is gvura, refrain, holding back, right? Hold back, which means as follows. In the heavenly spheres, God gives, but he also has the power to hold back of gvura. What will ensure that we can experience something divine? That God will be kind with me, that in my prayers that I can experience a real divine connection. Maybe it's going to be withheld from me with the left hand, right? So left hand is to withdraw, to move back, to refrain, right? Like the mother says to her child before dinner, when the child's asking for ice cream, she says, no, it's not a bad thing. You can't have before dinner. After dinner, you'll eat your entire dinner. Then you can have some ice cream, right? But not before. There's a no, there's a refrain, there's holding back. So how is it that we will not have that holding back of the experience of God when we pray? It's because we give charity first. Because we take care of someone who's down and out, or the needs of those who are in need. By the way, it doesn't mean just giving to an individual. It can be giving to an organization that take care of the needs of others. Needs of others doesn't mean pauper just physically, but pauper spiritually too. And you take care of the needs of others, then God will take care of your need. And you know what your need is in prayer? To experience a connection, to experience a divine connection. to experience the light of God in your prayers. Whoa. But ask the Alter Rebbe, isn't that mismatched? If you give life to someone here, shouldn't the reward be life in the world to come in Gan Eden, that your soul will have that lofty experience? Why are you getting life now in this world? In your prayers that you're getting such a deep, profound life. Seemingly, it's disproportionate. Now, think about it. You gave a coin, and today, if you put it into the charity box and then go pray, there's an opportunity when you do that that you will get a divine illumination from the Almighty. I mean, you have to be really engaged in your prayer, right? It can't be just, but it's a simple thing to give charity. And from that, I'm going to have such a lofty illumination of my soul. Alter Rebbe says that is disproportionate, that you should get that. Because in this world, you get an essential bond with God. In the world to come, in Gan Eden, in the Garden of Eden, you only get a ray of light of God. The ray makes sense that you should get, but not the essence of God, that you're bound up with Him in this world now. And to experience that, that seems completely disproportionate. Very short class. That's our question. Tomorrow, we'll give the answer of how is it by a simple act of giving a coin before your prayers and then to pray, that you get a disproportionate capability of experiencing an essential bond with God Almighty. Not a ray of, not just a simple light of God. But folks, that will come tomorrow. God bless you all. Thank you.